नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। So we can read from this. You have it now. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadadikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visavitade Prabhupada Priya Shri Girirajaya Swami Subhaksharadas Bihadidhyam Chaknadaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visavitade Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatayana Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangham Rangayati Girim Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinitarananda. Hare Krishna. So we are starting a new section actually in Bhagavad Gita. You've been reading Bhagavad Gita, right? All right. Have you completed? No, how many chapters you've read? Okay, first two. All right, so now this is a new section in Bhagavad Gita. So the first section is chapter 1 to 6. So this is discussing about the yoga processes, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. Like chapter 6 was about Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So now, so basically the first section establishes who we are, that we are not the body, we are soul, and how the soul is entangled in doing different types of work. So by the yoga processes, we remove the soul, we distill the soul from matter. So we ended up the last section about somebody may try, but then doesn't complete. So what happens? So Krishna says, don't worry, there's no loss. There's no loss, we will just continue. We'll continue different different status of life. Like some may take birth in a very rich aristocratic family where they get all facility to continue, and others take birth in a family of Brahmana where they have automatically, they are learning all this from childhood. And then those who take birth in families, transcendentalists, like great acharyas. So, meaning with just little bit is left before they complete. So, let us see how it ends. So text, I'm reading on chapter 6, text 44. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately, after achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. So here Krishna is saying it takes many births of practice. So of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So now we start. So this last paragraph, Prabhupada explained about it is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyam Sundar, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama and Singha, Varaha and Krishna, the Supreme Person Godhead. And he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda. And he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master. And he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. So I don't know whether the darshan was not open yet, right? The temple was not open yet. Huh? Anyway, when you go, so you take darshan of Radha Ras Bihari. He's just so beautiful. Today he's all flowers. He's all flowers, as if he's in a garden. His whole body is like flowers. He's just so beautiful. All right, so today we start chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjam Madashrayaha Ashamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagyasya Tachrinu. You want to read? Yeah, read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now, here, O son of Partha, or Pratha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from, free from doubt.
Yeah, you can take this, Anushka. You have to catch this also, and make sure it doesn't drop.
Okay. Purport. In this seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness, yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth. The living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Touch Shruna, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. I'll read.
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भगवतसेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी तदा रजस्तमो भवः कामलोभयश्चमे चित्तान्तर्गुणान्वितं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो
भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भागवततत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थि हृदयते सर्वसांशय To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamshayam Samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna.
All right, so Prabhupada gave a summary of the last chapter. Then now Krishna says he has more to tell us. So one should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms. So these 9 different forms are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Sakyam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So here Prabhupada speaks of Shravanam. So Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjun, Tat Shrinu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. So Krishna is saying, hear from me. Therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. Right? So people, they study Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas from like an academician, right? Like just a philosopher, not as a devotee, right? So Prabhupada called them an upstart. They're non-devotee and an upstart. So Bhagavad Gita is very popular, right? Extremely popular. But how do you study Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada says you have to hear directly from Krishna or his pure representative. Okay? So there is an effect. When we hear from a pure devotee, there is an effect. So what would be that effect? So Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his transcendental knowledge. So it's like when we are reading Prabhupada's books, right? Because Srila Prabhupada has written in a very pure way, right? Without any motivation. He only wants to link us to Krishna. Therefore, it's like, you dial a number and you get connected, so Krishna connects with us. All right? And therefore, we are able to understand Krishna's words. So, this is what Prabhupada is saying. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed. See, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, meaning that he will not be engaged in a whimsical way. He actually wants to satisfy the Lord. So he's not just checking it out whether he likes it or not. He or she becomes very fixed in Krishna's service. So by the development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, meaning ambition and all attempts for material gains. Like you view the world only, how can I gain from this? Even you come to Krishna consciousness and then you think that, oh, how can I make use of the facilities in the movement for my own gain. And thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. So meaning that when we start to engage in devotional service, gradually, this rajas, kama and lobh, start to diminish. When these impurities are wiped away, see, why is it that we keep on shifting? It's because of kama and lobha. So when these are going out, then my position in devotional service becomes fixed, steady. Yeah, and then he becomes enlivened by devotional service and understand the science of God perfectly. So we become enlivened. So we like to do, right? Because we are actually relishing doing this service. So we like to do, so we're enlivened. So why is it that people come, do a little bit and drop? Because they're not enlivened. And they're not enlivened because they have other interests. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard nut of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asham Shayam Samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality, Godhead. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard nut of material affection. So this Bhakti Yoga, it is so powerful. Huh? It's like a knife. It's like a knife. All right, Bhakti Yoga. And it just cuts our material affection. So there has to be sufficient engagement in devotional service. We have to be very serious about it. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. The text too. Yes. Is there a right way to be ambitious? What is your ambition?
I want to be able to take care of my parents very well. And I think that in order to do that, I need to earn enough money. I don't know if that's the wrong way of thinking of it. And I think that I want them to be comfortable in it. So I think that I need to work hard enough so that I can be the comfortable.
Well, we will read here that hard work is not sufficient. There has to be the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, everybody who is working hard will become a multi-billionaire, right? So yes, we endeavor, but then it's our destiny, as we say, right? And providence, sanction of the Lord. So hard work only is not sufficient. And everybody is born with a destiny. And whatever somebody is meant to receive, that amount only will be received. But more important than anything else, see, all these things happen naturally. Parents are taken care of, you are taken care of, your own personal life, how it will develop. Everything will be taken care of naturally if we focus on Krishna. Right? Because let's say I have 100 rupee note. Automatically 10 rupees included, 50 is included, right? So what is more important is Krishna. Right? Yeah, it doesn't come easily because we get distracted, because we don't know sufficiently about Krishna. So Krishna has given a very simple formula, very simple formula. So there is our material life, our material life, meaning that when we are taking care of our needs, right? So formula is very simple. If we have 24 hours, right, we have 24 hours in a day, so it's divided into 3. 8 hours is for your personal needs, 8 hours is for your material work, and 8 hours is for your satsang. It's very simple, right? So now if I say that 8 hours which is meant for satsanga, I said eating into it, right? And those 8 hours which is meant for my personal fitness, health fitness, if I start, saying I will sleep less, I will eat less, right? So what will happen? Then you fall sick, then you lose both material and spiritual, right? So therefore this balance of 8 is very important, right? So we should work our 8 hours, actually 6 hours, 6 to 8, that's sufficient. We work this much only, and whatever we earn in those hours is what is my due. All right. So we have a balanced life. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshami ashitshataha yajgyatva neha bhuyo nyaj Gyatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world. So that's what I just spoke about. Right? Material, the material. So meaning we should know how the body functions, how the mind functions, right? We should have this knowledge because these are instruments, the instruments of the soul, so we should know how to use it, right? The spirit behind it, so you should know yourself. And the source of both, meaning the Supreme Lord. This is transcendental knowledge. So when we speak of knowledge, you can make a note, consists of 3. 3. Phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both. The Lord wants to explain the above mentioned system of knowledge Because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential friend and devotee. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. So here Prabhupada is saying that you have to be intelligent, right? You have to be intelligent. So this knowledge is not meant for those who are not intelligent. Like, who is not intelligent?
Someone who is not secured any education or not try to get the rules of understanding how to understand personally.
Well, who is not intelligent, it's not a question of whether you're, reading and writing, right? So many people know reading and writing, have so many Nobel Prizes, but they are not very intelligent, right? So that's not the criteria of intelligence. Intelligence means you are able to figure out that there is something beyond matter, right? You may not know what it is, but at least you should be able to perceive that there is something beyond matter, right? Like so many people, when they see a dead body, they wonder, what is this body, right? And they search to know, what is this body? Who has gone? This is intelligence. When we say discrepancy among people, we wonder why. Why is it like this? Right? We are not just envious, right? We wonder why. There has to be a lawmaker. So how is this law done, right? So these were knowledge that automatically was taught in the Indian families, right? It was like it was just it's inbuilt, right? But gradually, it's like being pushed aside. Therefore, we are more focused on material gain, right? So now Prabhupada is again bringing back to our consciousness that you need to look for the soul and not look for the temporary. Because the temporary meaning that any material gain that you have, this is completely dependent on karma. And karma goes up and down, right? Material nature keeps on shifting, right? You don't know when what may happen. So it's unpredictable. So therefore, if you put your whole hope only in material nature or the capacity of your body and your mind, then it's a very risky situation, right? So you become confused, and you may do many wrong things. So therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mukunda Upanishad 1.3 says, Kasmid u bhagava vigyate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavatiti. If you understand there is a supreme source of everything, all right? Meaning that you know everything, right? Meaning something may seem mysterious. You say, no, but somebody has created it this way, right? Like right now, the talk is about no rain, right? I just saw in the news, it says 146 years since there has been this situation in Bombay. No rain, meaning that there can be a major disaster, right? Shortage of food, shortage of water, right? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tadvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Now Prabhupada is explaining. There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization. We try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. All right? So we become human beings, but we don't value that we are a human being. Right? Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self and the super self and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. So there may be many people, as I said, they could figure out that we are not just a body, there's a soul. So that's why in India you find so many types of yogis, philosophers, etc., etc. But they are not interested in Krishna. Right? Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna, that everything is light, impersonal is just light. So this is easier than, you speak of Krishna. Then Krishna means you have to deal with about so many things about him, right? What does Krishna do? Right? He steals Makhan. He teases the gopis, he steals their clothes, he dances with them in Ras Leela, right? He lifts a mountain. Is this true or false? He dances in Kaliya, he swallows a fire, right? Too many problems, too many issues about him, right? And so he said, no, this must be just kids' story, right? This is animation to, just pass time. Right. So Prabhupada is saying, Krishna is the Supreme Person, but at the same time he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead, his followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. Yeah, so some people say, yes, bhakti is very easy. If the path of bhakti is so easy, as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized persons without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually, according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. So some people they say that yes, bhakti is so easy. You just come and sit in the temple, you hear kirtan, you pray, and then you go. Why don't they come back? How many people? Okay, so this is very simple, right? Chanting, hearing. Why don't they come back? They don't come back, right? Very few come again and again, meaning it's not so easy, right? And some people who are just fake, they're actually fake. So they pretend to be like in bhava, and they imitate. Then finally they say, "I'm Kalki avatar," and then they say, okay, now he's performing Rasa Leela, right? All this nonsense. So they're all fake people. But bhakti actually means rules and regulations. It has to be followed strictly. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2101. Shruti smriti puranadi pancharatra vidhim vina ekantiki harir bhakti utpatayeva kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narad Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society, meaning that bhakti has to be practiced according to the Shastra. If you invent your own way, then it becomes a disturbance. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, or the son of Mother Yashoda, or the charioteer of Arjuna. I just gave a whole list, right, of Krishna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat surayah. Mam tu veda na kaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then sa mahatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, tatvataha, even though one is a great scholar or philosopher. Only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendent qualities in Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. So Krishna reveals himself. He starts to make us understand something of him, right? He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore it is said, Atta Shri Krishna namadi nabhave grahayam indriye sevan mukhehi jivado swayameva spurati yadaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. So this Krishna, like we can't figure out Krishna, but Krishna reveals himself. As we start to worship him, then we start to see him, understand him. Text 4. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhina prakritirashtadha. earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. See, now Krishna started to give what is knowledge. This chapter is entitled Knowledge of the Absolute. So he's describing the material world, right? Material world. First thing, Krishna is saying, hardly anyone tries to know me, right? And even those who start the path, they can know only some rungs. They are not able to know Krishna properly. So Krishna starts to give some description of what is this material world. So his instructions actually starting from text 4. So like the prelude to this chapter is that hardly anybody bothers to know. And among those who try to know, they don't complete the journey. So now Krishna is starting to describe. So this is this text now. So this is very important. We may think it's basic. All children know water, fire, air, ether, right? Now Krishna is saying to whom it belongs. The science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. All right? So, science of God. Science of God. Number 1. Know the constitutional position of God. You need to know in what state does he exist. What is his position permanently, without moving. All right? And then, it's not only him, it's also his energies, his Shakti. Okay? Shaktiman and Shakti. Material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnations. Expansions, as described in the Sadvat Tantra. Vishnatu trini rupani purushakyani atho viduhu ekam tu mahata shrastri dvitiyam tvanda samsthitam tritiyam sarvabhutastham tani gyatva vimuchyate. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansions assume 3 Vishnus. So Krishna's expansion assumed 3 Vishnu. The first one is Mahavishnu. So he created total material energy known as Mahat Tattva. So this material energy has a name, Mahat Tattva. All right? And this is manifested by Mahavishnu. All right? Mahavishnu creates this Mahat Tattva. The second Garbhodakshayi Vishnu enters into all the universes to create diversities in them. The third Kshirodakshayi Vishnu is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. Now, see what is being explained here. This is from Sadvat Tantra. We are locked in this material world. We are locked, like a jailed. We are imprisoned, we are locked. All right? Now, the different constitution of this prison is being described. All right? So, how it is built is being described. I'll just go on the board. I hope something is working. Okay. So, first is, oh no, this doesn't work. This is Maha Vishnu. Mahavishnu. He is creating Mahat Tattva, which is just like a ball of matter. Alright? Then, in this Vishnu expands. So this is Mahavishnu. He expands as Garbha. Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Right? He expands and he enters in here. Alright? And when he enters within that Mahat Tattva, he starts to create universes. Alright? Then this Garbhodakshai Vishnu expands as Kshirodakshai. Kshirodakshai Vishnu. He expands and he enters into each universe. I mean, this is Garbhodakshai. This one, and he enters into, he just diffuses throughout. Alright? So Garbhodakshai Vishnu is entering Mahat Tattva, and each universe is manifest, and he's entering each universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu, he's entering each and every atom, every space within the universe. So here, this material world is a temporary manifestation of the energies of the Lord. That's why we say we die, because it's temporary. Okay? All the activities of the material world are directed by these three Vishnu expansions of Lord Krishna. So generally, one who doesn't know the science of God, Krishna, assume that this material world is for the enjoyment of the, so it's created, for us to enjoy, right? For us to control, manipulate, right? According to Bhagavad Gita, this atheistic conclusion is false. In the verse under discussion, it is stated that Krishna is the original cause of the material manifestation. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this. The ingredients of the material manifestation are separated energies of the Lord. Even the Brahma Jyoti, which is the ultimate goal of the impersonalist, is a spiritual energy manifested in the spiritual sky. There are no spiritual diversities in the Brahma Jyoti as there are in the Vaikuntha Lokas. And the impersonalists accept this Brahma Jyoti as the ultimate eternal goal. The Paramatma manifestation is also a temporary, all-pervasive aspect of the Kshirodakshai Vishnu. The Paramatma manifestation is not eternal in the spiritual world. Therefore, the factual absolute truth is the Supreme Person Godhead, Krishna. He is the complete energetic person, this is Shaktiman, and he possesses different separated and internal energies. Okay, now tell me, what did you understand?
What I understood is that Krishna is the source of all the energies that are present. And then there are people who think of themselves as source and they think that they can control and manipulate everything, but actually the source is Krishna. And that is the whole principle, that everything that is existing is a expansion of Krishna, every energy.
Well, I don't think whether people think they are the source of this material world because they're born in it, right? So nobody's so stupid to think that, right, I'm the source, the creation. They just don't bother to think how it exists, right? They only see it's there and it's meant for my exploitation, right? Yeah, yes, correct. They don't question where is it from, meaning they're not intelligent. You understand now what is meaning of intelligence, right? Doesn't matter, who you are, whether you're literate or illiterate. Anybody who's thinking, even a child, right? Then a child asks, from where did the moon come from? What are these stars, right? He is questioning, right? Meaning intelligent. So here Prabhupada is explaining that even the Paramatma feature of the Lord is not present in the spiritual world. Alright? So these three, Vishnu, they're specifically for the material creation. You see here? So Paramatma Kshirodakshay Vishnu, so you could say his area, his jurisdiction is only material world, right? In the material energy, the principal manifestations are 8, as mentioned above. Out of these, the first 5 manifestations, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, are called the 5 gigantic creations, or the gross creation, within which the 5 sense objects are included. They are the manifestations of physical sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Material science comprises these 10 items and nothing more. But the other 3 items, namely mind, intelligence, and false ego, are neglected by the materialist. Philosophers who deal with mental activities are also not perfect in knowledge because they do not know the ultimate source, Krishna. The false ego, I am, and it is mine, which constitute the basic principle of material existence, includes 10 sense organs for material activities. Intelligence refers to the total material creation called the Mahat Tattva. Therefore, from the 8 separated energies of the Lord are manifest the 24 elements of the material world, which are the subject matter of Sankhya atheistic philosophy. They are originally offshoots from Krishna's energies and are separated from him. At atheistic Sankhya philosophers with a poor fund of knowledge do not know Krishna as the cause of all causes. The subject matter for discussion in the Sankhya philosophy is only the manifestation of the external energy of Krishna as it is described in the Bhagavad Gita. So there are 24 elements. So 24 material elements. 24 material elements. So these are 5 gross elements. 5, what are they? Yes, 5 gross elements. Earth, water, okay? Earth, water, etc. Then we have 5 senses. Okay, so these are perception, Jnanendriya, right? Ears, nose, etc. Then you have 5 working senses. Your arms, legs, voice, stomach, reproductive organs. These are 5 working motor, I think they call it motor organs, right? Then we have 5 sense objects. Sight, sound, smell, etc. Sense object. So this comes to how many? 20. This is 20, okay? Now we have the subtle, 3 subtle elements, which are mind, okay? Mind, intelligence, and false ego, okay? That comes to how many? 23. Then the 24th element is what we call pradhan. Pradhan is unmanifested modes of nature. Three gunas. You know what are the gunas? Guna, sattva gun, rajagun, tamogun. You know these, all right? There's a small book called Vedic Philosophy for Students. You get that book. You can get it at the counter down. You just ask for this book, Vedic Philosophy for Students. And if you don't get it, you ask me next time. So all this is given. All this detail. Like, this Bhagavad Gita is just made, simple. All right? So you get this book. Yeah. So, these 24 elements are discussed by one philosopher, Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy. They're atheistic. So they only speak about these 24 elements, but they neglect the original. The origin of this, meaning Krishna, right? So there is also the time element, so the 24. So we also count the time element, and all right. So this time element is between material and spiritual. Because of time, this is what caused the whole activity, right? But time also means eternal time. So it is a very it's like in between this time. So sometimes we say it is, sometimes we are using material, and then we say time is not visible in the spiritual world because everything is eternal. And and the Jeev, who is not material element. So here, generally one who does not know the science of God assumes that this material world is for the enjoyment of the living entities, and that the living entities are the Purushas. All right, here we are saying there is a Purush, right? There is a Purush who is causing all this, right? And here the living being is thinking they are that Purush. Purush means enjoyer. Purusha actually means who's living in a body. Just like we have Pur, means Pandarpur, right? It's a city, right? So that personality who's living in a city, and therefore he is controlling, you live in the city, so as you grow up, you say, what are my rights? Right? Everybody say, what are my rights as you grow up? You start claiming your rights. because you want to enjoy whatever is yours, right? So this is little technical. So we'll continue next week. All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you. You understood? You have any question? It's nice.
It's the first time I'm understanding it like this.
Yeah, because it has to be studied. Bhagavad Gita is the most difficult book, right? You take any book, see, material science is such that once you've read it, you put it aside, right? Bhagavad Gita is a mysterious book. The more you read, the more you understand. And it has to be taught. It has to be taught. It has to be studied. It has to be taught. That's why you came. All right. Okay, so we'll meet you next week. Hare Krishna.